any value. Otherwise, they're going to be doing something very projected, and that's just going on the Sand King and Omni. And with that new cast time on Repel, it's very easy to mess up a combo. So I really do feel like it's of critical importance that we are going to be seeing them connect with their spells and getting their early levels out, because otherwise, TL, they will neutralize the bottom lane, they will certainly win the top lane, and mid should go pretty well for them as well. So, Puck, what does it really bring here is what I'm looking at. It sets up the Vac wall, it sets up the boat really well, and it sets up the Eclipse, I think, is one of the biggest things. So a lot of teams, they can just find ways to disengage from the Eclipse, but when Puck wraps you in, you really just have to fight through it. So, I'm probably going to be seeing some dirt up at the course.
And saying, looking at Mirana, it would usually be Liquid to start those fights, but now I think actually have someone who is going to be more than okay grabbing a Blink Dagger and starting those engagements. And I mean, AdFinM's team fight was already terrifying at a coil, at a couple of silences. On top of that, silence is just incredible versus, well, everyone on Team Liquid, especially now with this last pick, Invoker. It lets AdFinM actually have a chance at getting the jump on the Drow Ranger, killing off the Omni Knight, or at least eliminating the threat of Omni Knight from the team fights early on. It's probably not going to be the easiest thing to do, since Liquid, you know, 3 range heroes and an Omni Knight usually going to play very far behind, should be typically fairly well spread out, so puck initiation is going to be on a fairly small scale on average. But that being said, at least AdFinM now do have that tool, and if you do land
yeah, qualifying, but I'm not trying to keep it together. But at the same time, we know how good Miracle can be on an Invoker, what skills he can use in the heat of an exchange to really turn the fight in their favor. So I really wouldn't count them out, no matter how squishy they might be by comparison. If AdFinM can't nuke them down in like the duration of a Waning Rift, then we're going to be seeing some really good spell usage coming out from Liquid, as well as Karel, who's currently on the Sand King. So I'm not sure if there's a swap here, or if it's just a little bit of mind game action as the initial pause comes through inevitably, but because teams are always going for this smoke TP ward action at level 1, you see a lot less swapping and a lot less mind games in that capacity, where before the first 10 seconds, 30 seconds of the game even, weren't the biggest deal. Now, like, because you are instantly looking to buy your items and TP out, maybe smoke up and make a move, it's far less common you'll see these swaps, and we are going to be seeing the support Sand King coming out from Kuro. So definitely not what people would normally expect. We see a lot more offlane than 4-position Sand King, and the Windlace Opener is actually a personal favorite of mine, because it's not as greedy as Boots. You can still buy some either regeneration or support items, but you're able to still be active, involved, and find those Burrow Strikes.
Burrow Strike, level 1, pretty notorious for just being a terrible skill because of its low range, but if you can get around that, you'll be fine. Mind Control is going to blow a smoke. Bulba's right next to him.
Got Bulba.
The bubble, they're going to target the Omni instead.
Yeah, definitely the right target here.
Bulba is in a lot of trouble, and he's going to be first blood.
Yep. No, Brando would just leap away, but here the Omni Knight can't do much at all for himself, so going to be able to find the nice combo there with that Disrupt Torrent, and that's going to be a nice chunk of change going to the Shadow Demon to start things off. So already has the Windlace, probably will pick up Boots very soon, and now we're actually seeing some real possibility of roam early on from MNT and Spartan, because these heroes are just going to be so quick on their feet. In the meantime, though, we're going to be seeing Miracle go Quaz Wex, it looks like, as he's starting out with the Quaz Orbs here for the top rune.
The battle begins.
It is definitely great to throw that Tornado, throw that EMP in to kind of jam up the AoE teamfight combos of AdFinM a little bit later on, and it is still possible that he just goes straight into Exort, gets that Sunstrike up. Like, going back into the Sand King, the fact that he's on the roam typically and is going to have less experience than if he was just sitting in lane with the Omni Knight means that you will have being able to kind of shadow around and set up kills so that the Invoker can Sunstrike in any given lane as opposed to just that bottom lane. So there is some value to that, and still you have Purify Burrow Strike, I guess. It's going to be a little bit weaker, but it is still going to be there, and they might need it up against these 3 heroes. Try top.
Yeah, it's going to be very aggressive here, and we're going to be seeing a heated exchange for both sides. But yeah, if Kuro can get like a 2-man Burrow, 2-man Purify, it'll really just shape the fight in their favor. But in the meantime, he is only a 2 armor hero, taking a lot of right clicks back the other way, and there's no hope for, like, the strength, I think, of the Sand King in the offlane, and as a core farmer, is that he's going to be going for a Stout Shield to start with, and he's going to be getting Caustic Finale to be really up in their face. Without those two combined together, you're really not seeing as much potential. Still a great hero, and you might go for like a Tranquil Soul Ring early active build-up, but in the end, it's just not going to be as threatening as what would be the core.
And if he was going to be played as core in this scenario, he'd be one of the better heroes, more well-equipped heroes to deal with this with the Dark Sphere on the bottom lane. Just going up against Mirana now doesn't really have that much to fear. I think all the CS we see from Mind Control right now is just him shooting arrows at the big creatures in the side camp
killing off
and taking out ion shells. That's not very valuable for Mirana.
Yeah, but he's got the Basti, he's got the Clarity continuing to move out. We're actually going to be seeing a exchange up top here, but it's not going to be Spartan going down despite Kuro's best efforts here. That's going to be a lot of hits going in. They're just going to kill him off. Well, all these big right clicks coming out with the aura from the Luna and one more Lucifer. If they get another kill, they're going to get Bulba too. 2 kills coming out for this Tri-v-Tri, boding very well for AdVenom to start things off. In the games they won in their previous series, they were able to get most of the early game, and we're seeing that here. Spartan, though, might be going down. No Caustic means no kill. Kuro is going to be taking a lot of damage and has to be healed up from Bulba. Spartan able to trade it out. He still gets the kill! So much damage flying out, but Madara has this magic wand, and with all these stick charges, he's been able to keep these Lucid Beams flowing, and with that short cooldown, get another kill. It's 4-0 in favor of AdVenom, and 3 of them have happened in the past minute.
That was with Drow Ranger shooting at them the entire time. I think the problem there was that Drow Ranger was focusing mostly on the Kunkka, the kind of closest, easiest target to hit there. The Luna had very little pressure applied to her during that entire exchange, and she is able to do probably just the most damage consistently when that is the case. So Liquid just trying to get what looks like the easiest kill, ends up just taking several stacks of Shadow Poison, so many glaives to the face, and they're trying to go for the tankiest hero, 4 armor, ton of health on this Kunkka all the while. Losing that initial fight was bad enough, and then Kuro returning to that top lane, like level 1 Sand King, as you said, 2 armor, is not able to withstand Luna right clicks. Luna by herself right clicks, let alone with 2 other heroes joining in on that. So AdVenom, they get a much bigger win than I think they otherwise should have. Liquid should have very, very quickly cut their losses, those first 2 losses of their support heroes, but deciding to engage into this, much what AdVenom's lane is. They want to fight all the time.
Yeah, and it's just something that is really exploitable, this weakness in the early Omni Knight. I mean, 90 heal is not that much at level 1. It gets a lot better when you max it up, actually doubles the effectiveness at level 2. But early on, level 1, level 2, Omni Knight is one of the weakest supports in the laning phase, and he rapidly sets himself up. So we're going to see the combo come out. No Soul Catcher, but Torrent will still connect. Repel will finally come through here, but Matuma's already taken a lot of damage, and they're almost considering right-clicking down. The Lucifer could still come, but they're going to change their target over to Kuro, who gets caught out by the X-Mark, gets caught out by the Torrent, and will be killed off for the 5th kill of the game. It's just AdVenom 100% knocking down this top lane with this Tri-v-Tri, and the problem is that Invoker and Mirana aren't great heroes to rotate with. Like, the Puck at level 6, absolutely, he'll jump up there. One quick TP, and he makes another couple kills happen. But the Invoker, without Sunstrike, has no presence in that lane, and is not able to really come to their aid where they're bleeding.
And if he was to come to their aid, it would be on the back of, this haste rune, which he has right now, and he's just not ready. They're not ready to go back up there and actually do anything with the haste rune or an invisibility rune or something along those lines. I don't know, an EMP and a cold snap to throw into that AdVenom tri lane can certainly give Liquid the edge to at least take a couple of kills and not get mercilessly slaughtered up towards top, but it'll be so freaking obvious when that happens, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Thug carry TP just to make sure that doesn't happen in the upcoming moments of this game. So Liquid, this top lane is looking pretty rough for them already, as the Drow Ranger is, I guess, still farming on parity the enemy Luna. That's something, I suppose, getting that CS still, but it's not really going to get easier from Liquid, as they don't really have any huge peaks in power. Usually those come from your Drow Ranger and your stanking, but they're the ones under the gun right now, and the next Marks lands, it'll just be another kill. It's level 2. It looks like maybe next time we'll prioritize that initiation.
Yeah, it's just the thing is that Drow Ranger was supposed to have a practically free lane. In this configuration, if you send stanking on the bottom, AdVenom supports have to stick around there. and they have to focus on that. Instead, she's getting suppressed pretty heavily, and although her CS is even, she's just not winning out nearly as dramatically as she wanted to. It's also going to be a very powerful power spike for Advenom when they get up all their level 6s. I mean, the puck is essentially rushing a Veil of Discord, all these null tallies coming out, and that means that the Eclipse is going to be doing that much more damage, and they're just the mechanism is going to be coming at a great time to push and put heavy pressure out. So I feel like it's just going to be Advenom's heroes that contribute more to the state of the game. True, there is the EMP, which is going to be very potent. Actually, nice arrow onto Thug. Could this be enough to get a kill? Yes! Mind Control nails it and puts them on the board. Very important kill to come out, and a pretty good long-range prediction, as they only saw him leaving the lane for the bottom rune.
That was mostly a blind arrow, so getting some power out of this top lane from Liquid is going to be very important, because once you are ready to TP in with this Mirana, if she's underleveled, if she's underfarmed, then it just might be another hero on the chopping block. This is what we saw from the second game from Liquid in the first round of Summit, and they did struggle quite a bit in the early game, but just were able to turn it around by rallying around kind of a more mid to late game lineup. It is still very possible that we see this Liquid's late game if they're able to get a quick hand of Midas now with this Invoker and somehow get this Drow Ranger a little bit of space to kind of rally and outrange, outdamage Advenom, as we were talking about in the draft. But Helmaman is not farming right now. He's just not hitting creeps, and Luna is. So it does not bode well if that is going to be the case. And the roaming Sand King, level 2, no Sandstorm, can't jungle. Like, this guy is really behind, and he doesn't really have any way of getting back in the game.
No, he's got to find it through ganks. He's got the Windlace, the Boots of Speed. I assume he'll go Tranquil since he's had such a slow start, and he's just going to try to make little smoke plays here and there and find jumps while he can. But end of the day, like, if there's something that's going to happen in Liquid's favor, it's got to happen soon, because the entire point of picking up like an Invoker or Mirana in this kind of a draft is not only the control they offer, but the fact that they attack extremely quickly. Actually, Disrupt combo coming out onto Bulba. Is he even going to get a chance to cast any of his spells here? Purification? No!
Well, he's
he
trapped.
Doesn't cast it. Had Magic Stick, had Purification, just couldn't get it off, and maybe he thought the Moonlight Shadow would affect him quickly enough, but in the end, holding still is the wrong play, and he does end up going down.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, pretty easy disruption trap there, which otherwise would just lock them in. And
I mean,
they don't have any
easy
AoE
play to
afterwards,
criticize,
so maybe Moonlight Shadow kicks in just in the nick of time. But Sentry was also there, so maybe it did kick in, and it just wasn't
he didn't know about the
do
Sentry.
anything
It's
anyway.
an easy play to criticize, but at the end of the day, maybe even Purify, Stick, Repel, and TPD doesn't issue out because there's so much damage. We are going to see Kuro only hit with one on the Burrow Strike, but it is on Madara, who is a very prime target. This gets disrupted. Can he get the Eclipse off here? Can he get the damage he needs? No, he gets Tornado. He gets CMP, and he's getting nuked down very heavily, and still the launch charges nearly keep him alive. But it's going to be Puck Thug who tries to get the better end of this, tries to get some vengeance onto Mind Control, who bottles up on the southern side, while we do see that Spartan will fall up to the north. Kuro going to be keeping the chase up on MNT, who will be going down. In the meantime, that Mirana will be able to sneak herself away. So, full-on rotation, 5 versus 5, or 5 versus 4 in the top lane, and Liquid get the better of it.
We can see the hesitation there from Spartan. They're not done yet. They're going to go towards bottom. The EMP Tornado, actually EMP not going to do a ton versus Skylark, already out of mana, but some man's there with the right clicks. Delayed double kill for the Drow Ranger, and Miracle teleporting, or getting up towards top, setting up for a kill on the Luna, which I guess Spartan kind of set up for the Invoker, that bubble. He was hesitating, stopped, canceled it like twice there, and decided to go for it, and just the Invoker get into a perfect position.
Another
for the EMP
arrow
Tornado,
here on
and with
mid.
that many heroes.
Oh, is that going to be enough, though? They don't have Burrow Strike mana. Kuro doesn't count it effectively enough with the minus 75 from the TP, and that's going to be that. But all in all, still, Liquid coming back in a big way, and it's very important they did so. They now have a lot of agility on the Drow Ranger with marksmanship, treads, Aquila, and that's going to influence the potential for Invoker and Mirana to really put up the damage they need in the next fight. We do, however, have a mechanism just about complete on this Darkseer, only 350 away. And I'm assuming Arcane's coming out on a few heroes here, so they are up against a Wex Invoker.
Well, no Veil on the puck yet. Arcane's still pretty far away for anyone else, just as far as being able to farm for it. They're going to Moonlight Shadow, though. Sentry on the deck. You can see Miracle with Real Liquid back going on. EMP still in the middle of the fight with a 2-man Burrow Strike on the back end. They'll deplete all the pucks, manage, gets an orb out barely, but at 5 HP, I think this low level, the Sand King pass is still going to take the kill there. The wall's going to drive everyone else back. They're going to catch Kuroki in the corner, and well, with no mana, yeah, I think he's going to go down here, although they're really hesitant about going in. They will just kill him with the beam. Mind Control is going to find Spartan also in the same corner, trying to dig, not digging far enough. kill from Matumba Man.
Yeah, good timing for Liquid there. Really great jump with the Burrow Strike into Tornado EMP, as well as the fact that Eclipse was still on cooldown. If Eclipse is there in the fight, it's a lot more difficult. Maybe Advenom get another kill, but as a result, no, it's going to be an even kill score, and Liquid just completely back in this game. Right now, Advenom, they just really need to get their items out as quickly as possible. They need at least 2 Arcane Boots, I assume on the supports, as well as the Veil of Discord up. If they have those, along with the Mechanism, they'll be in good shape. Skylark has that piece up, but they need all these pieces to come together if a puzzle will be solved for Liquid.
Slow Seed with the Drow Ranger damage, arrow to fish in. They know that there's definitely a Luna here. Probably know that there's a Shadow Demon here as well with the Shadow Poison coming. With the Tornado EMP, these heroes are going to have some backup from the left side if Liquid really decide on going in here. So, yeah, FBNM are in a defensible spot, I suppose. They're just constantly fishing with the arrows, but now Luna Mirana get into a fist fight. Bulba is here. Veil Mind Control out. Leap level 3 is going to get her a lot of distance. 4 Spartan can actually cast that bubble. And the EMP, they get backing back bubble onto the Invoker. Broken in the area. Don't know if he can actually help out, especially now when they coil him. Really dead. That is going to be FBNM at least getting something, spilling forward, looking for something else, but not quite enough catch. Again, that's pretty much the Pup's job exclusively to catch people, and with no coil, that's not going to happen.
True, but they still have at least the X mark, and they're going to be able to jump in and maybe surge the Luna in with the Eclipse. In the end, you don't need the coil to win every 5v5. It's definitely a very important tool, but at the same time, if you can just win a 5-man fight with just the coil alone, you have more cooldowns to use for the next one. Matumba Man, nice little catch out here thanks to just a good movement. I think they scanned that actually a little bit earlier. And of course now a bunch of wards down in play.
Tower is under attack.
And no matter how far ahead or behind you may be as a Drow Ranger draft, if you're out of position, then you're probably just going to crumble. And just in the fog of war, especially in your own jungle, those type of situations tend to happen a little bit more where you're just caught out with a bubble or there's a random torrent from nowhere because you're just being spotted by an observer ward. So Liquid still are able to rally somewhat in this game, but all said and done, top net worth Mirana not really going into the items just yet. It's actually going to be a drums first for this Mirana, but more priority for the right click and the ability to stay in these fights. Not really a standard Mirana build, at least not in this patch.
Yeah, doesn't have that much HP to work with, just logistically, but actually gets the arrow. Thug's spaceship doesn't last long enough at level 1, but third arrow will not be a kill in this case, and it is just going to be Thug continuing on his own tear. He's got his Veil up. The drums is interesting though. Yeah, it's all about attacking faster and faster. Once again, the Precision Aura, great damage enhancer. You multiply that with attack speed, and you're in a good spot. So you've got Leap, you've got drums, you've got the Wex Balls. You've got a lot of attack speed supplements, and a lot of ways to make this happen.
Puck is dying elsewhere, but they're baiting Pumpkin, and it's working pretty well, but they have to make sure that he doesn't die in the process. EMP Tornado is going to connect onto 2. Skylark is going to get hit with the Burrow Strike, chasing forward from maybe next time as a secondary kill. Do they have anything else to interrupt this? No, not quite. Spartan also leaving, will get out. But Liquid, they put the Drow Ranger out there with everyone else hiding right behind the tree line. A little bit too close for comfort there with Matumba Man, but he does survive, and that's the bottom line. And they're going to Moonlight Shadow up and look for the Luna as well. Cold Snap, probably Tornado available to the Invoker as well with the level 3 Burrow Strike.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a kill, but we'll have to make sure that that occurs after the pause here, as it does look like Miracle needs just 1 sec. But talking about that fight, they actually pinged out where they thought wards were. Liquid thought that FNM had a ward in that area. They knew they did, and they were able to just set that up by only showing the Drow Ranger. Very nicely done. I thought they'd get more out of it, honestly, than just the Darkseer, but if they get this Luna on top, they're going to be in a pretty great spot. Burrow Strike and the Cold Snap, as well as During the Shadows, that's pretty much a guaranteed kill.
Tornado EMP just cooling down for the disengage if needed. No one really relevant getting in there, so they're not going to need that either. So ultimately, score tied up 10-10. Still, this is not exactly where FBNM really wanted to be given how their start went, but they have all these ultimates that are coming up, plus they're all going to be amplified by that Veil of Discord. If they're able to just get into the Drow Ranger's face and eliminate that extra marksmanship bonus for the team, then still it's, again, not where they want to be from the start in the top lane, especially, but the playable position for sure. Thug is going to dodge EMP for his ally to wrap around. There it is, bubble.
More kill here. Omnidot's going to try to do his
coil.
best, but there's still going to be a lot of damage coming in. And nice coil. Waning Rip means Bulba can do nothing. Miracle will go down, and they should pick up the Omnidot as well. Oh, just so close of timing. I think if he goes for the repel, because it is the faster animation now, maybe he gets it, but it's such a close window, and it's just a great play by Thug. Locking down Omni right when he was about to be the saving grace for Miracle. And this sets him up for a tier 1 in mid.
Now, it did cost them the bottom lane tier 1. The Drow Ranger was kind of camping out there and pushing that the entire time. They do see a Shadow Demon because the creeps are scouting. So, you know, Dire creeps doing their job. I don't think they have a really great angle here, though. So it looks like Spartan should just be able to back out from this, but it will be a tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade. Killing off Invoker, that's big game for AdFinem, and the Puck getting involved in that especially. Getting the Veil, going straight into Blink Dagger more than likely, just to try to get into those fights a little bit quicker. It's you know, him keeping up with the item progression needed to actually let the rest of the AdFinem heroes function somewhat decently. And now at this point they also have the level 4X on Kunkka, opting to go for just pure initiation build on this hero. It's gonna at least help them get in there with not just the Puck. Start the fight with someone else as well.
So, at least for now, we're going to be seeing both teams kind of rest on their laurels. Plenty of smokes available for the Dire side, but Radiant down to the last one here for the Shadow Demon. So this one's got to really count. Spartan pops it off, and the Dire Observer Ward does not actually catch any side of it. So this could be effective, but a scan comes out from the Dire, and Kuro sees through it all. So let's see here, making sure we see the full disengage. Arrow will actually connect, and they know exactly what just happened. Full TP away. Looks like everybody will be able to get out of this one, and that's just a unfortunate thing. As again, this is another less smoke. So we'll see. Kuro caught out. Will they have enough follow-up though? He's got that burrow away.
And Moonlight Shadow deployed as well, just for safety precautions. So Liquid not gonna take any chances there. AdFinem, they also do have here in this game. We haven't really seen a ton of play from Skylark, but level 11 1-point wall should get that second one shortly. Had the mechanism for a long time now and wasn't really able to leverage it into anything big, and that is, you know, somewhat just because of the fact that Miracle has gone for a Wex-based build on Invoker. Straight pushing into Exort is a lot easier than straight pushing into a Wex build for Invoker. Just EMP on any one of these heroes from AdFinem screws them over really hard in the fight, so it really will need the special circumstances for AdFinem to get away with straight pushes. You know, one of those just may be Miracle is away from the lane with no TP. I guess that's kind of a lucky timing break then.
Yeah, still though, we're going to be seeing potentially a kill on mid as Mind Control does get X up. The TP takes a little bit too long. It still gets canceled out here by Thug. So Mind Control will be going down even with everything that he has available to him. The regen rune and all that, not going to be much. But bottom, we're going to see Kuro come in, get caught by Defensor, get caught by Eclipse, and go down as well. Bulba caught in that too, just both of them trying to go in, trying to do something when there was a rotation on mid, and neither one succeeding. Luna gets a tier 2, and AdFinem pick up 3 for 1.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And the Sand King channeled most of his epicenter, and it definitely seemed like he thought he finished it, but there was a vacuum from the trees, so the Darkseer was able to sneak that one in and pulled the Sand King and the Invoker just a little bit too far away. Of course, with no epicenter going in, they run a little bit low on damage, and Luna win Eclipse on just heroes. It's like a pretty good time to use that as well, so it's another kind of huge gain here for Madara. 7-2 and 6 already with that Dragonlance. Now gonna get a little bit more damage with that Yasha built in as well, so pretty much that positioning in the trees, again, able to bypass the positioning of Liquid just by the element of surprise, and that's from a Darkseer who has no Blink Dagger. He was just patiently waiting for Liquid to make that approach. They expected the Invoker to be there. Again, that's what's that is what Invoker is kind of supposed to do. He's supposed to defend against those pushes. So AdFinem just with a good read and with good positioning on the Darkseer, able to clean house on bottom.
I'm really surprised they're still doing this with only one Arcane Boots on the Kunkka. They did just get the Ether Lens up, and well, we'll see here. Actually, a nice potential catch if they can follow it up. The Berserk will connect, but this doesn't feel like the best fight. The arrow gets blocked out by an illusion, and now they've got everything they need. The boat will come out. The Torch, dude, Kuro's going down quick, but what else is there? There's gonna be a vacuum. Kuro repelled, and 2 heroes caught in the Dream Coil to the north. Mind Control and Miracle caught out of the fight. Needs to find a target to prioritize. It's gonna be Madara, but Bulba's already dead. mind control, slipping away under the guise of the Moonlight Shadow, but Tumbo Man left for dead all by himself here. Zombies gonna try to keep poking at the Luna's actually gonna be enough. The Ice Ogre Frost Mage dominated by the Drow Ranger, actually gonna be able to kill off the Luna in the end here, but still, I think a better fight. What do you think? I do think that in this case, Liquid got FNM got the better of it, but I'm not so sure. It's kind of close considering that FNM were dominating them prior to this.
With honor.
That's for
Check,
your
check.
impertinence.
Mike, you there?
I'll take yours.
All right,
Hello?
there we go. What's up?
Okay, you're just like
Radiant's
cutting
middle
out. This is
tower
like the
is under
Skype issue I was
attack.
having. When people
So-
start talking, then Skype stops working. So I'm sure you said something brilliant at the end there, but I unfortunately didn't hear it.
So I'm just curious,
but,
who do you
Ogre
think got the
Frost
better
Mage,
of that? With
MVP for sure. Liquid going in really deep to go in for a Luna. Already had those illusions of the way, and that disruption into illusion micro from the Shadow Demon definitely saved their bacon there. Luna is not an easy kill at this stage in the game after having picked up the Dragonlance and the Helm of the Dominator. Still does go down because of heroic neutral, but coming in from that angle, Liquid, like you're going in between tier 1s and tier 2s, that is just so risky, and you're actually going to give AdFinem a shot at using their mechanism and using their coil without really having to work for it.
yeah, so they didn't have to go out to find the fight. The fight came to them, and they're able to triumph in the end. But here we do see at least that Kuro has his Blink Dagger, has more tools for initiating and following up, and trying to find those openings, setting up Miracle for his big combos here. Starting to put points in the Exhort here now is the big Deafening Blast. That'll help kind of cut Luna's damage in half, at least for the duration. In the meantime, though, the EMP hasn't really been connecting the way that you would want it to. Like, we actually have only one set of Arcane Boots. We've seen 2 heroes disassemble for Ether Lens, and still, they don't seem to be struggling in terms of mana issues.
I think like the best EMP was just like on the bottom lane when they were able to, you know, catch a couple of heroes from AdFinem, and it hit like 2. It's not exactly what you want. AdFinem, it's partially them just positioning well around this Invoker to make sure that the Tornado doesn't hit everyone, the EMP doesn't hit everyone immediately afterwards. Good positioning is important up against now a Blink Dagger Sand King, as well as that Invoker. So it's half positioning, it's half Liquid just not getting the right angles, but without landing EMP, Wex Invoker is extremely weak. I guess the attack speed is kind of nice when you're hitting for plus 50 from the precision, and he now does have the Hand of Midas, so he can start going into a little bit more of the Exort power that we more typically see from Invokers. But in situations like this, where both teams are going to run into each other maybe in the jungle, then EMP is really hard to miss. So I'm expecting if a fight does happen here that Liquid should have an edge, but AdFinem are kind of cautious about going down that direction.
Yeah.
With the Observer Ward seeing actually nothing. I don't think. They may have seen them walk in with the River Ward.
But even still, like
Dyer's middle
the only
tower
real
is
option
under
for Liquid,
attack.
like they could try for a flank play, but honestly, the better response is just to get behind the tower as quickly as possible if they want to keep it alive. Looks like that's not happening though. They can look at Roche real quick. Yeah, they're gonna go for it. They just see a small window of opportunity, but I think the Shadow Poison might have got an idea of what's going on in that pit, or it will very shortly. So yeah, they're just gonna be running in. AdFinem now have the back, the wall, the boat, the Eclipse, everything coming into the pit, and Liquid have to disengage. They lose their tier 2, and they lose their glyph, and still Roshan's sitting at about half HP. So while there are some great Observer Wards for Liquid, there's just some better game sets coming in from AdFinem.
They're just going to constantly send in those Luna illusions. Bottom lane is not really being pushed either. This is still a good spot for Invoker to fight in, very close quarters in this area. But AdFinem, they are positioned expecting this play, and it does seem like Liquid aren't really going to find their angle. Are they going to try to sneak right back into Roach? Drow Ranger damage is certainly a thing, especially with the Alacrity, so this might catch AdFinem off guard, but they're right around the corner.
Oh, it's gonna be
Orb
close.
coming in, and it's going to connect onto pretty much everyone.
Oh,
The
the
Gust is going to hit onto the Puck, gets bashed by Roshan as well. Roach strike in with the Epicenter. Puck not dying just yet. Spaceship, they flip this. Everything else from AdFinem spilling into the pit, and Liquid walked into a trap. The Invoker's going to book it on the other side. Sand King was able to grab the Aegis. Burrow Strike gonna get him up to the high ground to try to TP out. They see him with the poison. Can they cancel this? Didn't work. They actually do get out with the Sand King, which isn't bad, but Liquid, they try to bait after them into the pit, but Liquid get caught.
Yeah, just a really really bad timing for them. Like, they were so close to finishing off Roshan. They end up getting a really good gust on the puck, but he's able to, they don't focus him down. So he just goes ahead, pops the face shift, during the epicenter, lives through it all, and they're able to, yeah, they don't get the Aegis, but they get everything else out of that. And now they're looking at an even high ground. I don't think they go just yet. They want to get a few more things in their arsenal. BKB for Luna would be great, but otherwise they're feeling very confident right now. They just took one of the most critical clashes of the game in style, broke the Aegis. Liquid got nothing out of that, and now they have to be very concerned. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of different things to talk about, like mind control. Yes, he went for an unorthodox build. In fact, I can't remember the last time Luna didn't, or Mirana didn't go Aghanims, since it became a popular item build-up after the buff. But, like, I understand what they were looking for. They were looking for just good raw physical damage, Invoker and Mirana right-clicking with the help of Drow, and then them just keeping Drow alive with the Omni-Knight. But end of the day, that's not how fights are playing out. They're getting caught in these choke points. They're getting caught and trying to engage beyond their means, especially Kuro, and it's just all turning against them. I mean, is there any real moves that Liquid can do to bring this back?
It is still, I think, almost 100% reliant on Invoker actually landing a combo. He landed it very late in that Roche fight, and by landing a Tornado and EMP, they actually are able to use this kind of right-click based build on Mirana. Like, you just land the 20 MP and usually you fall back at that point if you're at FNM, and then the Mirana can just clean up with right clicks. Everyone can, you know, clean up with right clicks on the Liquid side, but seeing as though that just hasn't happened yet, Liquid are working with all this kind of blank teamfight power from the Invoker, and that's of course making Sand King's life very difficult as well. Doesn't have that luxury of Tornado seeing when he could channel up that epicenter, so we haven't really seen that much power coming out of Kuro, and his Blink Dagger, even though he's had it for a very long time now, Liquid can take a fight on the high ground. That's really where Invoker is at one of his strongest peaks. So for AdFinem, taking this fight is going to be risky, although killing Mirana beforehand is going to make it a little bit better.
If he just do that in duration of an orb, he's able to go in and actually orb.
He was X.
TP Jaunt, like, oh no, he X-marked. X got pulled back by the X-mark. Now they get to kill Mirana and they get to go into the base here, putting in a lot of damage here. It's going to be Matoma that gets nuked down heavily. Ball, but where's that repel? We need it. It's going to be Matoma just barely getting the distance here. Arrow, however, will fly and not connect. And now it's, I think, all on Kuro's epicenter, really. They bought back on the Mirana. It's already a loss. We'll see if AdFinem looks for the reset.
The Liquid don't lose any Raxes. I suppose that's a nice little luxury there, but the Luna still has a 10-second BKB charge, and for AdFinem, they were able to force out that buyback, as you said. They still have a lot of power with their heroes. Wait just for 25-ish seconds for the boat, Demonic Purge, and the Coil to be ready once again, and till that's ready, just slow siege him with Disruption Illusions. It's maybe worth it for AdFinem to spread out the map just a little bit more and wait for another couple of items, but they know that if they take down the Mirana one more time, then unless something disastrous happens, then you're looking at pretty much Raxes, if not completely game, and they have the luxury of Kunkka to send people back to deal with this bottom lane, which isn't even really being pushed anyway. So AdFinem could just make the Dire jungle their home if they really wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. They kind of have parked themselves up here, set up a lawn chair, and they're ready to just kind of go commit to the slow siege. There's really nothing that Liquid can do in terms of attrition because that bottom pressure is always going to be repelled. Now I've got Blink Force Staff on the Darkseer just waiting for a chance to use them, and as you mentioned, that BKB is still really strong here at 10 seconds, so when the fight is committed to, like, what can they do against this Luna? They can run from her while her BKB is active and try to engage after the fact, but while it's up, she is just large and in charge, and she's got so many great heroes behind her. It's a really tough position for Liquid. But when they shadow bottom, trying for Thug, Arrow not going to connect, neither the Burrow Strike, and this is the signal to go here up on the top lane. That Sand King might be able to take you back, but he's not in position for the epicenter right here, right now. They try to go in, they back him back. Do they have the detection? No, Miracle will get away, but they've already lost the tier 3 tower. And Kuro's only just now TPing back, finally in position, looking for his opening, but AdFinem just take the tower and walk away.
Now that the tower is down, we get to see the beauty that is Luna with 6 bounce glaives. The Blink Dagger on Sand King is going to be much more difficult to use in this scenario since he's standing so far back, but he's still getting his Blink Dagger cancelled. And well, AdFinem are also fitting their Luna to the front lines here, but they do have a bubble, they have BKB, so not really in any huge danger. Range Rax is down, melee is still a lot healthier, but such little risk because of the fact that Sand King has to stay so far away.
Alrighty, so we're going to see this tier melee racks dropping very quickly. There seems to be no direct response, and if they ever commit to something without a creep wave, it's just Eclipse City. Surge, BKB Eclipse, and everybody's dead. So Liquid have to play this very carefully. We're going to have to see the Sand King find a flank. Kuro does have a smoke at his seat, so he could go for a smoke epicenter, but right now we're seeing the jump too fast, 2 periods, onto Drow Ranger Madara, popping it, backing back, but they can't finish off Matumbo. It's so close. In the end, they will just finish off the racks, BKB TP away. And will there be any rebuttal here? We do see Spark caught out 1 Shadow Needle for your entire top lane of racks.
Oh, boat. Okay.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
That was a pretty good
attack.
boat, I guess. But Luna BKB TP out after having claimed the racks already, and Liquid barely are able to make any sort of response. Killing a Shadow Demon is something that AdFinem seriously cannot care less about. And well, they already took what matters, and they're just burning time until there's going to be another Aegis for this next fight, plus additional illusions coming out from this Manta style on the Luna. Liquid, if they didn't fight over that set of Raxes, and I'm not really sure how they're going to execute on the next set.
Exactly.
It was granted a little bit set up by the fact that they were able to pull out a couple of early spell usages on the bottom lane, especially that Moonlight Shadow on Mind Control, means that AdFinem are able to make that push in without worrying about any sort of wraparound from the Liquid side, which may work a little bit for Liquid if they actually decide to go for that, but now AdFinem can just keep activating on the bottom lane. It is a little bit less benefit because they don't have the jungle to farm, while they're waiting for illusions to cool down. But it's such a risk-averse way of playing for AdFinem. There's really no downside.
Yeah, we haven't really seen the big ultimates coming in from Liquid here. The Guardian Angel only just now picked up from Bulba, albeit is not the biggest spell because there's so much magical damage flying out and not really as much physical damage. But then, of course, the epicenters just really haven't connected the way they needed to. We saw like one didn't do the most. We just need these heroes to get in because these are the 5-man heroes. The Sand King, the Omni Knight, they're the ones that really can make the fights work, but they have to be quick on the draw, finding the opportunities, getting their combos off, or we're just going to be seeing AdFinem walk it over with the illusion play again. I mean, now the Luna here with her Manta style and her BKB and everything else, it's Madara's game to just push down towers unless they have a response.
Stalling with Arrow and Tornadoes can only last so long, especially when you jump in onto Miracle.
That X
You'll be just fine. Mind Control with Repel is going to do his best to clear out this wave. Meteor doesn't do a ton of damage right now. The Deafening Blast doesn't do a ton of damage. Has a lot of disarm, a lot of pushback. Arrow, that connected onto Kadara. That could have been a forced fight there for Liquid, and that probably would have been a good one, despite the fact that their Drow is still far away. But
yeah, the thing is though, you
just
just get
trying
defensively
desperately to
disrupted on Madara. He pops the BKB, Eclipse immediately thereafter, and what do you have? You have 4 heroes walking into a boat. That's what you have. So it's really just hard to actually commit to anything here. There's so many things that AdFinem can do that are just low risk, or even no risk, with the X Mark play, with the illusion play. And Liquid, they have to take a huge risk if they're going to make anything happen to change their fate.
X marks to clean up mid. Thug's gonna get a little bit of extra farm. This is all in the context of AdFinem not having any real great answer to Omni Knight spells, as you mentioned earlier. They weren't really coming out. Have the Demonic Purge, no Diffusal Blades or anything like that. Spartan's gonna get caught with the Gust off to the side. Burrow Strike is there as well. Skylark's gonna jump in, can't save his ally. With the Coil Launcher 3 and the Eclipse, they'll kill everyone in response. Okay, Spartan, your death is well worth it. Buyback on the Sand King, but for AdFinem, that's a resounding win.
Yeah, Miracle needs to delay this as long as possible. They can't really fight without the Drow Ranger. They lack all their damage. I mean, yes, they got the Shadow Demon, the BKB, and Eclipse are on cooldown, but that's about it. Otherwise, it's a really bad spot. They lose their gem, they lose their buyback, they have to go in. They're going to go in on Skylark. He's very, very tanky, though, and it's going to be Kuro. It ends up going down instead. The Guardian Greaves healing up the Darkseer. Kuro's still alive for a moment. The Glaive bounces back to him. Down he goes as Thug blinks in, and that's got to be it. Taking down this full bottom lane. Buyback after buyback, but here, game 1 of this best of 3 series looks to be AdFinem to take.
They're not giving up though. Buybacks on everyone. Does seem like it's not really a good time to be a Liquid player.
Goes down instantly, and what can he do? He's gonna try to delay it, gets the kill on Skylark, but Miracle is the prize. The dieback on the Invoker will seal their fate, and with the X mark, he should be a guaranteed kill.
Never give up, never surrender. Fight to the bitter end.
They'll try. They actually get Madara caught in the Gust, so it looks like he's going to be going down, but you need a lot more than that if you're going to be able to clean this one up here, as we're just going to be seeing an Orb phase jaunt away, and Samaritan stays to play. I don't really know what this game plan is, but it looks like it doesn't accomplish too much here. As they do end up losing a few more on the tail end of it, and Liquid aren't 100% out of this. Obviously, if they were, they would have GG'd already, but it is a very, very tough position to come back from.
We still haven't seen, you know, much epicenter action. There was no GA in that last fight either. Like, I feel like in this game, Liquid have been sitting on so many assets that they had, but just couldn't get off because they were not in the right spot, because at Phenom were getting in with so much burst so quickly. And again, it all can just be kind of circumnavigated by using a Tornado EMP beforehand, getting a Smoke or Moonlight Shadow wrap around for the element of surprise. We've seen every single one of these fights just end up as 5 heroes walking into 5 heroes and just kind of bashing heads against one another. And if there is an element of surprise, it's usually Ad Phenom who are the ones who are actually able to get the benefits out of that. So, you know, I appreciate Liquid still trying to fight it out, but at this point we're looking at, what, like to recover you need 5-man things from Liquid. Anything less than that is just not going to do enough damage.
Yeah, you can't spread the map. You're really just far behind overall. You're going to be burning BKB charges from this point forward. They just need everything to connect. They need a 5-second arrow. They need full epicenter. And in the end, the big thing here is just the vision advantage now from the lane pressure, as well as the mobility advantage. The fact that you have 4 staffs and 2 blinks, and you're able to just bring so much pain so quickly to a single target. Like Omni Knight, like people will flame Bobo. Like he's 2-10. He's had a pretty rough game overall. He might have not been able to do the most that he could in the laning phase, but you really look at it, and it's like, if Ad Phenom want to kill him, they're going to kill him. All you do is blink, Waning Rift, Dagon, and he's practically dead right there. So it's just, when you have 2,300 net worth on an Omni Knight at this stage of the game, up against Titans that are at nearly 20,000 net worth, you're just outgunned. And at this point, it seems just too far gone. They'll put out the repel on Miracle. We'll see what he can do. So you got a Butterfly Luna with a double damage rune gunning down for Roche.
Jeez, that is some serious damage. Doesn't have the Wolf. She had one earlier for the bottom lane, where Smasher is whatever, but it looks like Liquid are going to try to shove in the mid, at least get something to get in position to wrap around. And with the Moonlight Shadow, this is their last shot. They're spotted though.
Big wrap. We gotta see something big from Kuro here on the Sand King. There's gonna be the BKB coming out. Earthquake Madara gets the Aegis pop. The Eclipse going in hard, but isn't going to connect with many beams. Miracle now nuke and gone before Bubble can do a single thing. Dagon finishes him off as well, and just like the name, Dagon. They are down 2 for the count. We're going to see Mind Control chase down as well, has a BKB, sells for a TP, and that's going to be his disengage. In the meantime, Madara doesn't even waste his time with the little ants running beneath his feet. He goes for the tier 3 mid, and this should be the game.
KuroKy playing some games with Thug in the meantime. His survival is irrelevant to the outcome of this game, it feels. Vacuum Back's going to catch 2. Silverman is actually going to be able to shadow play it out now. The dust is there, although still not dying just yet, but the buildings kind of are, so Silverman's survival is also kind of irrelevant to this game, because Matrix is going to start flooding to Liquid. Epicenter, that spell is in Liquid Arsenal, and it's almost enough to get the kill on the Aegis.
Almost the Aegis. So
now behind
the Mind Control leaping out, but you know, what can you do? GG is out. It's been, in my mind, over for the past 6 or 7 minutes, but Liquid, they give it the good old colors. They tried to fight back with everything that show what their draft was capable of in terms of team fight potential, but in the end there was just too much snowballed for Ad Phenom, especially in that top lane. The fact that in that 3v3 they were able to just do so much work